All right, then let's set out. You know, one very daunting challenge for the democratic process in sub-Saharan Africa is perhaps election and campaign funding. Recall that the National Assembly stirred the hornet's nest when on November 9 it passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, mandating every political party to adopt the direct primary method of choosing candidates to stand for elections. Now, the National Assembly desires to go a notch higher by approving a loan for the federal government to fund the election should the budget exceed 500 billion naira. Consequent upon this, therefore, the House of Reps has invited the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to appear before it. Remember, the bill was transmitted to Mr. President for assent by or on December 19. We should cross the Rubicon for once, Jide.
Yes, and the pressure is on. Pressure is being mounted on the president to give his assent. It shouldn't be like what happened in 2019 when after all the hard work, after all the public hearings and all that, and all the input that INEC and other stakeholders made, the president refused to give his assent. His excuse or his explanation was that it came too close to the election. Now, in this case, we can't be talking about it being too close to the election. The election is still sometime next year, and there are some revolutionary, if we can use that word at least to flatter INEC, some revolutionary initiatives have been brought into the electoral act. Yes, so people want to see electronic transmission of results because they know that it's the paper trail that enables politicians to rig in the manner in which they rig. They will hijack the result. They will hijack the result along the way to the local government collation centers.
Okay.
Swap
boxes.
Swap, no, not boxes. Swap the form EC8A, which is the form on which results are written. They swap it with already filled ones. And they are so good at evil that even when INEC introduces all kinds of security features to those forms, to those documents that it uses,
they still had
politicians are still able to clone those documents. So INEC has now found a way to put as many security features as possible to make life difficult for these would-be riggers. Now we have the beavers, we have the electronic transmission. INEC is trying to modernize its processes, and it has every reason to, because INEC also benefits from funding from donor agencies who want to see the electoral process in our country improve. So if as INEC you are not making moves to sanitize the process, to ensure the fidelity of our elections, then the funding may not come.
Okay.
So INEC has its reasons for being resolute about some of these ideas that it is introducing, because it knows that that is the gateway to some level of foreign funding for it. You know, a lot of people may not know this, but this is the truth. Now, we have the electronic transmission of results. We want to see that happen. But if the president does not give his assent for any reason, then we will have to go to the next election without
not too many
with the old electoral law, which in our view enables politicians to rig at will. So we want to see that the direct primary is just one of the items.
Yeah.
You know, yes, it's very important, and it's probably the reason the president is still consulting, still taking his time before giving his assent.
But I do remember that Mr. President had said he was going to leave something indelible. And I think if he assents to this bill, it would have been,
I think so too.
It would have been a fait accompli.
I think so too, because the electronic transmission thing, for anyone familiar with the way we rig election in our country, you would be convinced that this electronic transmission of results would do us a world of good. It will make it extremely difficult for rigging to take, because you and I will be able to monitor the election and include election results, you know, from polling station to polling station. We can then monitor it, you know, without...
And then a level of persuasion on the part of the elector will become enhanced.
Yeah.
So the system is becoming...
And the more our elections get credible, the more people develop faith.
And people
will come out on election day and vote, yes, rather than see it as a fait accompli.
Because the cynic will say, if votes decided outcome of elections, they would make a law to ban it and so on. But here we are. INEC, like the father figure, you know, he's trying to modernize the home, but some crazy kids are saying no. It is now or never.
And that's not unexpected, because in our climate, the kind of politicians you have, it's about self-interest. That's the game of politics. And we just need to find a balance between the limit of self-interest and the collective interest. So in this matter, the president has the final say in this matter now.
And as he said, as Jide said, Mr. President
I don't
is
think there
intense
is
pressure. No, but you agree with that.
Yeah,
and this is the season.
The point I was trying
to make. The president has the big say. I don't think he has the final say. Because they can veto. They can override this veto.
His assent.
Yeah. They can.
Some of them are already suggesting that.
In theory, they can. They've not done it in recent times.
I think they did it for Obasanjo sometime.
And I'm sorry, not this kind of legislation that we have. I'm sorry, I don't think that can happen.
But is it not crazy to think that the APC is in power, and at the National Assembly it has a majority, so it should be good news for the APC?
Yes, it's but
ordinarily.
But ordinarily, even when the PDP were in the power, you don't expect all the PDP to think the same. There are even caucuses and interest groups within the APC, and which is normal. And not everybody will, see things the same way.
Democracy.
So that's democracy. All of us cannot see things the same way. And you have your say, I have my say, but eventually, when you put things to vote, the best, So in this matter, what I'm expecting, the president to do is to consider the interests of Nigeria. He has said it, that he will consider the economic and political implication of this. And Nigerians are really waiting. Today is December 3rd, and he has
to 19th.
19th of this month, which is not far away. We want to see what we do. There are big forces. When governors come together, they are a powerful bloc. Now, the National Assembly, when they come together as on this matter, they're also a powerful bloc. So we want to see who carries the day.
but we want to see Nigerians carrying the day at the end of the day.
Whether you like democracy,
democracy
carry the day.
Yeah.
In each of these,
contentions,
you frame it, Nigerians this, and this will also frame it. Interest is a big problem in politics.
Yeah. The National Assembly, it would appear to me, I may be wrong, wants to go the whole hog. That's why it's saying to INEC chairman, come, if it is money that's the wahala, we will find a way around it.
They are desperate this time. See, people have got to fully understand why this is happening. I see a lot of people analyze this matter and refuse to explain exactly where this whole problem began. Either out of love for a particular political party or our habitual character, habitual nature of abbreviating the truth. This whole problem began from the ward congresses of the APC. When federal lawmakers got to their states, and a good number of them discovered that they had been quarantined by their governors. Not even their supporters could vote. So, is that democracy?
Okay.
Is that democracy?
In this case, internal democracy.
It is not democracy.
Within the party.
It is not internal democracy. It is not democracy at all. If we are in the same party, we are organizing World Congress, it starts from the word and then incrementally you get to the convention. If governors now ensure that federal lawmakers coming to their state do not have a say at all, now what that means is they can't even be re-elected. They won't be candidates of their parties. A good number of them know now that the die is cast.
Because they won't have been popularly elected.
They'll be shut out totally. Once you are shut out at the level of the ward.
Wow. It's good night.
What is it again? You are shut out. You don't have a base. Look at what happened to Oshomole and later the chairman of the PDP Secondus. It was at the ward that in Ikuru that they chased Secondus out of the party, literally.
In the local government.
Yes, that's what
local government.
It was actually the PDP actually borrowed the idea from the APC. So now governors playing God decided to shut out these federal lawmakers. A good number of them got back home during the World Congresses and discovered that they've been thoroughly dealt with. Yes. They now felt, okay, how do we then save ourselves? Politics is an interest-driven game. How do we then save ourselves? Let's make this thing an all-comers affair. A governor shouldn't just sit somewhere and then write names to the exclusion of the rest of us.
That's it.
That's where it all began. They are looking for a way, and you can see there is governors who are running from pillar to post because the power to determine delegates singularly, the power to determine who succeeds them, the power to determine who goes to National Assembly, the power to determine who is even speaker of the legislature in their state. Whereas it's those guys who should actually oversee the affairs. Governors want to retain all of that power. So that's why they are the ones piling pressure on the president now. Don't sign. Don't sign. It's so much money. Don't sign. The unfortunate thing is today's governors, today's power people who are governors, tomorrow they will end up in the National Assembly. The things that they refuse to fight for as governors because they were enjoying the power.
That's it.
Sheepishly, when they are in the National Assembly, you now see them completely new people fighting for such things. So the lawmakers are battling for their political future, political lives. I like the fact that you call it lives. Because look, one of them told me that look, they did not know that we were going to pass this thing before calling a meeting. They called a meeting, a caucus meeting, you know, with the APC leadership, president. But ahead of that meeting, they quickly passed the bill the morning of that meeting, so that you cannot stop. Then some of them are saying that if the president fails to give his assent, they decide to use the veto.
All right, we are
they did it during Obasanjo's time, where their interests, because you know the war now. You know why I think that they could use it this time. the way it is now, having put the governors through sleepless nights, the way the governors will ensure that they don't come back. They know it. They know what's at stake.
And believe me, a lot of negotiations are going on over this matter between governors, between legislators, and all over. And some of them are even. I've seen people who say, if they can be given, right of first reversal, some of them are ready to back down.
But our governors would rather even make sure that I know some big governors. I mean, I know some big lawmakers that governors have made up their mind. Whether they like it or not, they are not coming back. So how do you convince those people that do not support, what's it called? Direct primaries. It's a matter of survival. Look at Gombe. Look at what happened to the former governor of Gombe. They didn't even allow him to enter his town.
I have Adekunle Yusuf's namesake waiting in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Kule, good evening to you.
Good evening.
I'm sorry we kept you waiting. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right then.
I want to greet everybody in the studio.
We greet you.
Thank you. We salute you too.
Good evening.
Welcome. Let's go. Time.
Yes, thank you very much. I greet everybody in the studio. And I want to especially greet Virginia and congratulate you for the award.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. I align completely with what the National Assembly is doing. The only problem this country has, and they are just 36 people, the state governors. They refuse to develop their state. When they get there, they become so powerful that they want to even ask God questions. Like the woman of Babel in the Bible. If they have opportunity, they want to torpedo God. So it's good that I personally have been praying for who will checkmate them.
Yeah.
And I'm happy National Assembly is rising up to their duty.
Yeah.
And I pray Mr. President will sign that bill so that we will ask God to fix that and develop their state.
Yeah. Kunle, I hope you are a prayer warrior. So, but let's the president
plenty
is listening.
of anointing.
Plenty of anointing. Thank you for your time. And this will just about do it for our first story. But again, Mr. President, we hear the ball is in your court. And you have...
May God give him the wisdom to do what's right.
And yeah, it's now or never. Okay.